Hi, welcome to Accelerated Art. My name is Sherry Altieri, and I teach Accelerated Art here at Unionville Middle School. And this is my 15th year here at Unionville Middle School. Accelerated Art is actually an advanced class that 8th grade students elect and apply to take for 1/2 high school credit. It gets them ahead so that when they get to high school, not only do they already have a half high school credit, but they can skip ahead from some of the basic introduction classes to some of the more advanced art classes. And your child has gone above and beyond, and they have decided to not only take art, but they applied for this class and they were accepted. So let me tell you a little bit about this class. So my philosophy for teaching art classes, and especially accelerated art, is that anybody can make art. Anybody can create art. All it takes is some practice. The more you do it, the better you get. And hopefully, as an artist, your students will have some tips and tricks to help them along the way. And that's what I'm here for, to make things a little bit easier. And I really believe that creating art is not that different than a sport. It's not that different than playing a musical instrument. You have a teacher that shows you some tips and you practice. I also think that art can be many things. It's not just visual art. Art can be music. Art is dance. Art is fashion, cooking, construction. And I want you to think a little bit as parents of these amazing young artists. What are some of your creative outlets? I bet that even if you don't consider yourself an artist, you're probably a very creative person. Maybe you love to rearrange things in your house and you're secretly an interior designer. Maybe you're a culinary artist. Maybe you love to build things. Maybe you love taking apart cars and putting them back together. I bet you have a creative outlet, and don't be afraid to share that with your children. Some of my goals are to help your child find their lifelong passion in the arts. Even if they don't go into art careers, which I hope they do, but even if they don't, art is something that you have as part of your life forever. So my goal is to help them find what they love in the arts. I also think about my role as a teacher as somebody who prepares your child for the future. But I don't know what the future is going to be like. So how do I prepare them for an unknown future? So one of the things we really focus a lot on is creative problem solving skills. Because if you can solve a skill using, or if you can solve a problem using creative skills, I think that'll really help them in whatever career field they go into, even if that career field doesn't even exist yet. And I also want to introduce your children to the wider world through the arts and expose them to different cultures, different ideas, and really show them what artists are thinking about in the world today. And finally, I want to help them build confidence. Art is not a place where we really look at or critique what we've been doing and are really hard on ourselves. We really look at what are we successful in, and we try to build upon those successes and feel good about our art making. Especially this year, we all need a little bit of art therapy in our life. Your child does receive a grade in art class. It's going to be a number grade. We meet every other day for the whole year, so you'll see 4 grades on the report card, 1 for each marking period. I do post assignments in Google Classroom, and I use Google Classroom this year, but ultimately check School Tool or Parent Portal for the final grades, and let me know if you have any questions. I also always offer redos. Your child can always redo something until the end of the marking period for a higher grade. But because I offer redos, I also do expect that your children have their artwork in on time. Because honestly, worst case scenario, they turn it in, and if it's not quite finished, they can always redo it and add some more to it, and I will raise their grade. I use rubrics in art because for a lot of us, we used to wonder, like, how did my art teacher come up with my average? Maybe there was a number written on the back of your artwork and you didn't know how we came up with that. So I do use rubrics. We do a lot of assessment together in class. And my rubrics are based on something called the Studio Habits of Mind. And these were developed by artists and art educators. But I love these because I feel like these are 8 habits that your child can cultivate in order to become a more successful human. So one of the habits, for example, is developing crafts. We learn how to use different tools and materials. But the next one down is engage and persist, not giving up. Those are things we work on in the art room because not only do they help us in art, but they help us in life. So these are the kind of things I'm looking for when we are assessing your children. Not does the art teacher think your art is pretty, because that's just my opinion, but were they able to envision, come up with ideas, and create plans to make that idea come up to fruition? Are they able to express their ideas? Can they convey some kind of idea or meaning through artwork? Can they observe things? Observing is so important in our digital world, especially when we're bombarded with so many images. So we really think a lot about observing and we hone that skill. We reflect on our art making, we reflect on what we observe, we reflect on our process. And again, I don't know about you, but that's a really great life skill that I use a lot. Stretch and explore. Can we go beyond our comfort zone to try and get to the next level? And can we understand the arts community? And again, that can be applied to any different community. Are we taking the time to really get to know the people around us and to see different points of view? So here's a sample rubric. I know it's really, really small, but I don't focus on every studio habit for each rubric, but I'll tell your children as we're getting towards the end of an art project what I'm really looking for, and we assess our progress in those areas together. And again, they can always redo things if they feel like they could have done better. So Google Classroom has the assignments on it. If you want to check the assignments, you can always do so. You just need your child's login and password, but ultimately the final grades do go on Parent Portal or School Tool, we call it. I do want to talk a little bit about high school quick because after 8th grade accelerated art, your child will be able to skip the intro classes at Arlington High School and go into more advanced classes. We do have a second half of accelerated art that they can take in the fall, usually with Mrs. Bueller or Mr. Bayless. And they also have different choices for the spring, such as ceramics or choice-based art. And here's a couple of the courses that we have at the high school. It is always changing year after year, but we do have a lot of classes for them to take in the arts once they get to high school if they want to continue on. Please stay in touch. Feel free to email me or text me if you need anything. I'm always here for you, and I'm happy to help you in any way. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful year, and I can't wait to see all the amazing art that your children create. Thank you.